Welcome to CoatingsCast, the ultimate podcast dedicated to the science, art, and innovation of liquid and fluid applied roofing, coatings for surfaces, and waterproofing. It's time to roll up our sleeves, put on our lab coats, and dive headfirst into the world of liquid protection that keeps your roofs and surfaces in prime condition. The future is here, and it's liquid, so don't miss out. This is CoatingsCast, where every drop counts in the world of roof and surface protection.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CoatingsCast from Coatings Coffee Shop. My name is Karen Edwards, and today I'm welcoming father and son team Bob and Miles Yglesias from Pli-Dek. We're going to be talking all about training from a waterproofing perspective. Bob and Miles, welcome to the podcast. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Karen. You as well.
Yes, thank you for having us.
All right, so let's start with introductions. Bob, why don't you get us started? Tell us who you are, what you do there at Pli-Dek, and fill us in.
Name's Bob Yglesias. I've been doing deck coating since 1982. My role here at Pli-Dek is a technical rep. Been at Pli-Dek now a little over a year. And basically training and education is what we do, and making sure the jobs are coming out correctly.
Excellent. And Miles.
Yes, so the last name is not a coincidence. We are a father and son team. I am told, at least, still pending DNA test.
Where are we going to start, huh?
So I've been in the industry with Pli-Dek for about 15 years now. I'm a technical rep currently, covering territories all the way from Texas and east. So it kind of started with, in the beginning, going ahead and working with GCs as an applicator for many years, where I was able to transition afterwards into an estimating and sales role, kind of learning Pli-Dek on how it functions behind the curtain with a company. Shortly after that, I was able to work my way into a operations manager role, running multiple crews. Did that for a while until the opportunity presented itself to actually come aboard with Pli-Dek and actually work with the manufacturer themselves, which I am currently doing now, and am honored, to say the least.
Nice.
So, Karen, I want to add something to my introduction. So,
Sure.
I started this in '82, but I've been installing and overseeing Pli-Dek for over 20 years. Jan and I go back a long ways. Adrian and myself, they're like family to me. So I'm honored to do what we're doing out here in Florida for sure.
Yeah, so that's great. And Bob, you said, since 1982. So you really know your waterproofing. And I love that, they brought someone with such experience as both you and Miles onto the team to focus on training, because you've probably seen it all, haven't you?
There's probably nothing I haven't seen, and what the stuff that is unique. Together, Miles and I will figure it out. But I've seen it all. Any kind of issue, any kind of details. It's been an adventure, but we can figure it out.
So, Pli-Dek is a waterproofing solution for plaza decks, balconies, garages. How is it different waterproofing a surface like that versus waterproofing a roof on a building?
Miles, you want to take this?
Yeah, so waterproofing versus a roof, they are two different scopes of work. There are some similarities, even that we see with our trainings with our contractors, where the roofing industry comes into play, where there's already a base experience when it comes to metal flashings, understanding fluid applied waterproofing applications. As far as that goes, you're kind of in between the two different scopes when it comes to the shingling, the bituthane materials, and the way everything else is applied divides the two. But there are those slight similarities that do help us, especially when it comes to training roofing contractors.
Right. And I was just curious if you do see a lot of roofing contractors wanting to be trained in the waterproofing side of thing because having diversity in your business and diversifying your offerings is important, because if one part of your business slows down, another one may be able to pick up that slack. So do you see many roofing contractors coming for training?
Uh, that's pretty much what we're training right now. A lot of them. So we do have a few waterproof contractors that are trying to get in applied deck, but the majority of our training is with roofing contractors, as Miles spoke on, as far as there are similar. The flashing, what they already know how to flash, so it makes it a little bit easier to show them the next steps and how to waterproof a deck.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about why training is so important. Obviously, Pli-Dek has a commitment to properly training installers and applicators, because they've got you guys as their training duo. So, talk a little bit about the importance of that and why it matters.
Well,
Yes. Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Miles. No,
So the trainings are highly important to us. Plydeck is somewhat of a niche scope of work. Like we said, we cross train a lot of contractors into getting into Plydeck. So the training is highly important in order to pass on the knowledge that we have to have these contractors certified to be able to apply the waterproofing correctly. Takes not only just the training, but also to build a relationship and continue that training once it goes out into the real world versus being into a warehouse training on sample boards. You're constantly going to run into different scenarios per job, and finding those solutions is something that we strive to be the best at. So when it comes to our trainings, we try to be very detailed and cover all bases.
Excellent. Does
yeah,
training extend to be out in the field if a contractor maybe is doing their first job and they want a little support? Do you help them with that?
well, after, like I said, after our training in let's say in Tampa, or whatever, when these contractors get jobs, we promise them that we're going to be on site. So it's the training doesn't stop after our in-house training. It's going to continue for a while. It's nothing that these guys get out and do their first deck coating and without help and it comes out perfect. So we are committed to be on site at all times, and that's what we do.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk a little bit about you mentioned the last name being the same, is not a coincidence. You guys are father and son, and I can see the resemblance. I really can. So if
Well, we have never taken a DNA, so
yeah. So I'll take your word for it, though, just based on what I see. I want to talk a little bit about the dynamic of working together, because you represent different generations, and how does that help you with the training? Because you're probably working with maybe people that have been in the industry for a while, and then some up and comers, right? The next generation. How does that affect your communication style, or do you do things differently based on who the trainee is?
Yeah, so I do see a different in the dynamic, especially nowadays. You have that younger generation coming up and starting to learn the industry, understanding our product. So I feel like I can approach and connect with that generation on a more even balanced playing field versus some of the older gentlemen that come in, where my dad comes into play. They have the history, the relationship. They've a lot of times have the same network from all of the years being in the industry. So it's kind of like a dynamic duo in that way, where there's not somebody that doesn't come through that door that we can't relate with and be able to help them out with whatever their needs are.
Bob, how about you? What's your perspective on that?
he pretty much said it. You know what? it's definitely an honor to work with my son. And yes, I do see the older gentleman. Let's not say old. Let's just say more mature. Um, coming to me with phone calls, like I said, and the younger generation definitely is more attracted to Miles, which is fine. I mean, and they connect better. So, yeah, there's definitely, it's definitely noticeable, and we definitely see it.
Yeah. I like that, you've got the 2 different perspectives because some people definitely relate, better to, one style versus another. So I think that's really important. What's it like to work together as father and son?
Oh, it's don't so easy, Miles. It's it's an honor. Like I said, we when we're working together, usually if I start rambling on, he'll give me that look for me to shut up, and I know when I've talked too much, and I think it's vice versa. Um, but yeah, pretty much the right hand knows what the left hand is doing, and it just works perfectly together, and the audience really seems to love it. I mean, especially when we train together, because we do throw a few things in her, and a lot of laughter, and it's definitely fun. It's never the same thing twice when we're training, and someone is always comes up, and you know what? I can honestly say, because he's the younger generation, I've learned a few things from him. I'm still old school, so he'll do something, and I'm like, wow, I don't know how that worked, but it did.
Miles, how is it for you working with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, I think working with family in general, you're always going to be have your difficulties and obstacles to overcome. In the last few years, like he's saying, he's been more cooperative. He's listening, so he's able to learn a little bit more these days. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
yeah. I want everybody to realize who trained him, but don't. We'll just move on.
Now let's keep it nice. But,
Yes,
I think a lot of your, audience can relate because you probably see a lot of contractors that are family businesses, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
definitely representative of our industry. I think you see it more and more. So, Miles, you grew up with in the waterproofing industry. Did you always know that you wanted to follow in your father's footsteps?
Not necessarily. I think at a young age, learning construction in general, just being able to pick up a hammer and what hard work is about was something that I'm glad I experienced. And again, it was more of just instead of flipping burgers, go out there in the field and learn a trade that I'm grateful for. But as time went on and you realize that there's opportunity there, I did love the grit of it, the community in the industry as well. Besides father and son, just being out there with contractors and the guys, it's its own little world. And as I started growing in the industry, learning more, being able to get better opportunity, it I feel like it just naturally kept evolving and became something where at a young age with the knowledge that I have and had would kind of be a waste to throw it away at that point. So I just kind of stuck with it and we turned it in besides just him and myself with my little brother as well. So kind of like a full family dynamic when it comes to waterproofing.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned your little brother because we were chatting before we started this recording. And Bob, you mentioned that your other son is in the industry as well. What's he doing?
He like I said, he took over my position. He's running the decking division. He started with me at a young age too. Worked his way up. I got him in Nevada. He became a foreman, and when I left Nevada, he was the next one in line and doing an awesome job out there. Um, as far as wanting my both my boys to be in this field was definitely not. I It's not what I wanted because they're both smarter than me. So it's they took it on, but I'm proud of both of them. They're exceeding more than I ever thought they would in this field.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, Miles, did you go to Pli-Dek first?
Yes, correct.
And then you
So
recruited your dad, right?
say that again.
Did you recruit your dad?
Oh, coming into Pli-Dek first? No. So I was still in Vegas as an operations manager. All three of us were working for the same company.
Okay.
Shout out to Nevada Gypsum Floors, excellent Pli-Dek applicators. Um, so as my father came over here to Florida, where we currently are, after some time kind of getting the lay of the land, he knew that he was going to need some help here. And with our history with Jan Bagnall going so far back, couple phone calls and him having the trust in us to come out here and kind of take the reins and expand and grow Pli-Dek on the East Coast. Um, the opportunity was there, presented itself. So I thought about it and got tired of the Vegas heat and thought, you know what, a nice change of scenery can't hurt. And being able to work with the manufacturer of the product that I've been applying my entire life just seemed like a no brainer to me.
Yeah, Florida's pretty hot too, though, so you didn't get
It,
too far away from that heat. All right, I'd like to know more about the trainings, where they happen. Is it at your facility? Will you go to a contractor's location, and how often do they happen?
Well, our training is everywhere. If we do have one which you can find on our website under training and education, Pli-Dek.com. You'll see all our trainings that are local in Tampa, but we travel. We each have a, a suitcase for our tools or a case for our tools, and we'll put it on a plane, and we go everywhere on the east. So we train, like I said, like Miles said, we're getting ready to fly out to Puerto Rico on Monday. We have a week-long training out there. We come back and head to Texas. So yeah, our trains are wherever a contractor needs us, and if they are interested in our product and excited about it, we spread out expenses, and we'll go where we need to go to get them trained and get them moving for sure. That's what we do.
Yeah, yeah, so lots of frequent flyer miles, and hopefully it comes with some first class upgrades.
Not yet.
You're getting there, you're getting there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what makes Pli-Dek's waterproofing system unique. Why is that your go-to system when you were applicators and now you're representing and teaching others how to do it? What makes it different?
I'll let Matt Miles take this one. All I can say is bulletproof. But Miles, go ahead.
Nice.
yeah. So, being on the applicating side, you get to experiment with many materials, different methods and means. And Pli-Dek always kind of stayed true to me in the application process of knowing how the system works, the functionality of it, and the durability, most importantly. So now being with the manufacturing side with Pli-Dek, we what sets us apart is our listing, our BML listing for the WUI. We have our Florida approvals, 1 hour and Class A fire rating. Our systems rated up to 6,000 psi. And something that really sets us apart is we also have an acoustical system assembly that can be installed in multifamily, um, over common areas, anywhere we're trying to dampen the noise. We do have a system that has an acoustical mat applied with the lightweight concrete poured, and we have a waterproofing solution for the top of it. So in the industry currently, we are on the leading edge of things when it comes to waterproofing deck systems.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, they get a lot of see a lot of action, right? Whether it's foot traffic, whether it's vehicle traffic, they need to be durable and be able to withstand all of that traffic that they're seeing. So it's important.
Well, and you got to figure Jan developed this in I think 79, 80, but the system basically has not changed. I mean, he did what he needed to do to withstand the test of time. I mean, I think the only thing that might have had changed since he started was putting the paper down
Mm.
where the joints are, but for expansion and contraction. But I basically think that's pretty much all he has changed. And like I said, he will continue on the testing and if it's needed for Florida, wherever else. But yeah, they are committed.
Yeah, yeah, I think, the R&D component of it is just so important because, while it's a good solid product, there may be something that can make it better, or there may be a code that changes, or there may be, something else that you need. So, paying attention to what's happening in the field and in the industry, is just it's critically important, and it's great to see that Pli-Dek is one of those leaders.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And um, we stand out from coast to coast, which is why us being here in Florida is a great thing for Plydeck, because we're able to take the knowledge from the birthplace in California of Plydeck and expand it over, and keep that seed growing across all the states. So it's really cool to see it develop and grow as the years go by.
Yeah, I'm curious, because the US has so many different climates and different regions, are there special considerations that contractors need to think about based on where their location is or where the building or deck is located?
Uh, Absolutely. Like I said, we're out here, we're inclement weather.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's a little more prep that goes involved, a little more things that are a lot different than the West Coast. And like I said, we acknowledge what it is, and him and Miles, are directing it in the right direction to get this handled on on our flashing and other steps of the system.
Yeah,
Excellent. Yeah.
yeah, we definitely having moving out here and seeing the different obstacles that come with inclement weather versus being on the west coast has been a slight learning curve, but it's been really nice working with the contractors and really understanding the differences. And this also goes back to why the trainings are so important on using the correct metals. We do have so much humidity, being coastal, the salt in the air, the different types of corrosion that can occur. So, and then of course the hurricanes, the wind uplifts. So there's a lot of variables that go into making sure that the system is applied properly, and will be able to withstand anything that's thrown at it.
Yeah. Yeah, performance is so important, and application techniques and the materials that you choose along with the application can make all the difference in the world, right?
Oh,
Absolutely.
and we like I said, we'll go in and we do our own little stuff just to if we're gonna tell a contractor to do something, we're gonna make sure it works. They have a lot of trust in us, and we will never do nothing to mess that up. So we are very careful on how we approach every situation. And like I said, everything is every detail is unique when it comes to being out here and what we need to do.
Sure, and every project's different, right? They're not all gonna be the same, so they may have, different challenges or, different, obstacles or different needs, so it's important to partner with the Plydeck team, with Miles and Bob, right? So, how does a contractor access this training? How do they say, "I wanna be trained"? Do you have a schedule of events somewhere? Do they contact you? What does that look like?
Yeah. So we on our website at plydeck.com, we have an education and training tab that drops down, and it shows all of the trainings going on from the West Coast to the East Coast with a date that they can click on, sign up for. We also have all of our flyers and information that we spread through all of our distributors coast to coast that they can go into and be provided with information there. And once the training is set up, all are welcome. And we always have a nice lunch for everybody. Our trainings typically go about, usually we think they're going to be about 2 hours. They end up going up to 4 hours. It's really great to see everybody show up and how involved and intrigued people are. And then something that's impressed us a lot lately has been after these long trainings, we'll have contractors sticking around about an hour afterwards. So it shows they're not eager to get out of there. They're still around. They want to learn more. They're asking us detailed questions that, maybe weren't covered during the training. So it's really nice to see the involvement from all the contractors.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I just want to reiterate that the website is Pli-Dek. That's how we spell Pli-Dek,
Correct.
Pli-Dek.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And if you didn't remember that, you can always find Pli-Dek on Coatings Coffee Shop. We have a directory on there for them. And in our events section, we usually list all the trainings as well, so you can get information there. Well, Bob, Miles, this was a great conversation. I want to thank you both for being here today.
I would appreciate it, and thanks for having us on.
Yep,
Sure, sure.
absolutely. And hopefully, for everybody listening, they can go to one of our trainings, come meet us in person, and get to know everybody.
Yeah, I
And,
love it.
and I have just one more message, and this is for Jan, the inventor, and he'll know what it means. We love you, Jan, but we're coming for you. That's it.
All right. I love it. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening to this episode. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media because we want to see you on a future episode. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this coating adventure. Stay tuned for more episodes, and in the meantime, be sure to follow us on social media to stay updated with all things roof coatings. Until next time, stay coated. For more information, go to coatingscoffeeshop.com.